So I had a guy text me a few minutes ago to show me this product that was being pushed by this fitness influencer that's a myostatin inhibitor. So what myostatin does is it regulates how much muscle we have. So there are certain genetic mutations that'll take place where people will have a mutation, or you may see it most famously in Belgian blue cattle or Wendy the Whippet. Uh, these animals had these mutations and they were jacked. And then I think in the early 2000s, there was a young kid that had myostatin mutation as well. Tons of muscle, looked kind of odd, right? See a young kid who's just jacked out of their mind. And a lot of people saw this and said, "Oh, okay, well, what if we put this as a drug or a supplement of some kind?" Well, here's the thing with any of these things that you see. Number one, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Number two, to quote Dr. Andy Galpin, there are no free passes in physiology. Everything is, you have a consequence for everything, good or bad. Number three, the body operates in an upregulation and downregulation, inputs and outputs system, if you will. So a lot of people are super interested in like input, like what can I add? And they think that just because I'm inputting this one thing, that it is directly going to affect this one target thing. And there's no other areas of concern. Well, that's not quite how it works. And we see this all the time with, drugs or whatever else that, are being used clinically or recreationally. Oftentimes, when you add a new input, it is going to affect multiple other outputs. And sometimes those are good things, sometimes those are bad things. But I caution people all the time. It sounds great, sounds awesome, if I can just add a bunch of muscle by taking this one thing. But what else is being affected? Okay, so just things for you to think about. I've noticed in human performance that the more skeptical you are, unless there's overwhelming evidence, the better off you are, because the basics work, they're unsexy. And what are the basics? The basics are sleep, eat well, hydrate, avoid alcohol, strength train, do some stretching here and there, carry low stress, like that's really it. And it just, the world we live in where people continue to think like, no, the grass is greener, there's got to be a shorter, quicker, faster, better way to get there. And there's really not. There isn't, especially if you're wanting health and performance outcomes, things that we know, okay, what are people doing? What are those people who live long, healthy, happy lives? What do they have in common? And they've been doing those things for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So the blue zones, super interesting. I'd encourage everybody to watch that. So these blue zones where people are living north of 100 or have a higher likelihood of living to be 100. And we're not just talking like some frail old 100-year-old. We're talking people who are thriving in their community. They're doing things. Look at the commonalities of those folks. Pretty interesting. And none of them are doing anything overwhelming in terms of, not overwhelming, revolutionary in terms of how they live their lives. They have community, they eat whole foods, they're active, they get out and enjoy the sunshine. What people are just looking for stuff all the time. And I'm not so sure that, there is a new, better answer of any kind outside of, if you want to improve health and performance, it's doing these handful of things day in and day out, year in and year out, over and over and over again. And people want to have their cake and eat it too in Western society for sure, where they want to live this party lifestyle, or they want to go out and drink a ton and use drugs and all this other stuff, and then they think, oh, okay, well, I can just take this pill or take this injection, and then I'll be fine. I don't have to worry about it. And it's just not how it works. I mean, you can't have both. Okay, so which one are you going to choose? Which one's more important to you? So anyway, just I caution you, be very, very skeptical as you see more of this shit on social media, and understand, just follow the money. Who's behind it? Who's funding it? Why are they pushing it? How much money did they make last year? I'm talking about these pharmaceutical companies and all this other stuff. Follow the money and you'll find your answers oftentimes. And again, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And wait for overwhelming evidence to suggest that, yes, this is the new course of action that you need to take. Because especially when it comes down to human performance and health, best to wait and see what's what, because sometimes there's certain things that are inputs that you can't reverse it. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So anyway, that's my couple minute rant for the day. I just caution you, be very careful with your health. Make sure you look for overwhelming evidence before you decide to make a change of some kind. And stand on the shoulders of giants. Look at what really, really smart people are saying. What do they have in common? Some other places you can check for studies and things like that is just pubmed.gov. That's my number one go-to resource. There's many others, but that's my number one. And just use your keywords, like, okay, if I'm interested in a myostatin inhibitor, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to key in myostatin inhibitor, and then I'm going to add other keywords throughout my search, such as myostatin inhibitor side effects, and just explore. But anyway, if you have questions about anything, DM me or drop me an email, travis@dhpcoaching.net.